Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426 and today we have the review of the 52Toys Beastbox Oasis. Now you might, if you are like following a certain few channels or other followers on Facebook pages, you might have seen like some videos or reels or whatever you call it, or shorts from that 52Toys company showing like a lot of gimmicks of this product. So this is the 52Toys Oasis, which is basically a mecha camel. Yes, you heard me, a camel mech. So yeah, I was expecting to review this next week, but once again my package order that I ordered arrived a little bit earlier, so which is why I'm reviewing this. Alright, so there's a few things I would like to mention as well, so let's get on to it. So let me get rid of the stand, and let's get rid of the basics. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Oasis itself, and then other than that, the typical stuff that you should be getting is the catalog. Once again, that has both Beast Drive and Beast Box as well. You can see that I guess they updated their catalog as well. Nothing too special there. And then you do get an instruction manual that shows from box to camel and then camel to box. So if you're struggling, you can always check the instruction manual as well. So that is the typical stuff, and you get Oasis itself and you get the card. Once again, you have the very nice illustration, and on the back you do have some explanations, but now they got rid of the English version for some reason, or I don't know, I think this might be explaining something else, but yeah, there's no description or lore regarding this creature, so yeah. And then like the previous 7cm version Beast Box, you do get 3 pilots, and they're the same design but in red. I believe the last one were in blue, so yeah, we'll get into these guys later. And then you get some of its equipment. So for now, the 7cm cube Beast Boxes, they all have like a pattern where some of their equipment or attachments cannot be stored onto their self in their cube form. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but yeah. So these I assume are either like blades or antennas. So either way, they work pretty well. I'll get into those later as well. And then finally, we get one of these holographic stickers. Now, usually, or like when you consider my last experience with Hurrancan, the Scorpion, I would apply this right away, but once again, they only give you one, and then this is supposed to go onto the side. But yeah, I mean, if they gave us 2, I would have used it, but yeah, because of that, I'm just gonna save this for later reference as well. So supposedly, if you apply this and then you like struck light on it, or you should be able to see like a specific shape. So you can see like there's a glow of the pilot scene, pilot figure like sitting on something. That's supposed to show you that, but once again, a little bit odd for giving only 1. Granted, you only get 3 pilots, and the pilots go each on the head, the main body, so basically top of the body, and then one goes onto the side of the body, which is a little bit odd when you think about it, but still. Alright, so before I go back, I show you guys the mech for. I'm not going to show you guys the process because it may take a little bit long and I haven't memorized the manual yet. So just to give you guys a history, so this is Beastbox Dio. So he was technically, or is, I believe still is, the mascot of the Beastbox line, or 52Toys in general. And he transforms into a 4cm cube. So this is the smallest Beast Box, and then here is Dio 2.0, which he transforms into a 5cm cube. So this is the average and your typical Beast Box or Mega Box size. So they transform into these 5cm cubes, and then they can be stored in these things called the box chargers. Now you could technically also put them in here, but you're going to need an adapter so it doesn't shake all over the places. And then some time ago, we finally got our first 7cm cube Hurrancan. And yeah, problem is with the box chargers, you're supposed to be able to stack them side by side or on top, so you can make a big wall of these things. But once again, obviously being 7cm, these do not enter the box charger, and these things do not come with the box charger as well. So you just need to store it like this. And then here is now finally our second 7cm cube Beast Box. Alright, so once again, the transformation is okay. You might need to like practice 1 or 2 times to make it perfect, but once again, as long as you follow the manual, you should be able to do transform this without no problems. And so far, I haven't found any like brittle parts, although I feel like the tail might be tricky. If you might accidentally break it off if you don't know how the joints work as well. so far. And anyway, I haven't found any part that feels brittle at the moment. All right, I'll be right back with the camel version or camel mode, and we'll start off there. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the camel mode Oasis. So at the moment, I also slapped on in the pilot figurines that they're supposed to be going in there. So we'll go over that one by one as well, and then we'll take them out and see if there's a very like a big difference. Alright, so here we have the camel mode. Now transforming from cube to camel mode isn't that difficult as well. It's just the difficulty is from when you're reversing, so basically going back to cube mode. Alright, so once again, this is why I absolutely love 52Toys. Usually when a company decides to make a cool mecha animal or something, they always go for like the meteors, like predators, like, you know, wolves, lions, tigers, dinosaurs, eagles, you know, the typical ferocious animals. But now 52Toys, they go a little bit creative. They go for squids, bees, dragonflies, and now they came up to camel, which is I absolutely love it. Alright, so being a camel, obviously, I can't say there has a lot of articulation, but they did consider a little bit of articulation so that you do have a little bit more freedom rather than, you know, making it stand on like a stature poser as well. So let's see what we got. So because of the figures, I feel like some of the figures are actually ruining the overall aesthetics, like for example on the head. So let's go over the head first as well. So here we have the head here, and here we have the first pilot figurine. So once again, even like as cool as this is, I would not like to pilot inside on the head, because I feel like this is like the most riskiest part to be piloting it. So the figure, once again, it's the same figurine, ab crunch, ball jointed arms, and then movable legs, even has a small bend going on here. So it has the basic you know, articulation. So all you just need to do is make him sit on the space and you're good to go. So that's how it works. So opening up this section was the most difficult part for me, because I did see like the hinge joint here. However, I wasn't sure like up to what part it opened, so it took me a while to fit around, but I was able to figure it out, and then it clicks into place by locking it. So obviously I feel like locking it and not having the pilot looks much more better here. And then once again, I absolutely love what they did with the mouth here. So it's not just a single joint, it's actually like a double joint hinge kind of thing, which you can open up a little more and reveals a cannon inside the mouth. That is absolutely fantastic. And you can close it up as well. And because the head is on the ball joint, 360 twist is possible. Let me go back a little bit. There we go. And then going down that much as possible, and a little bit more was because of the joint, and then upwards also very, very well done. So yeah, despite being a camel, it can do a lot of stuff. And then for obviously being a camel, it should have a long neck, so obviously it can go down and up and downwards. But once again, this is mostly for the transformation, so let's not go beyond that as well. So just make sure. The only issue I would say, not issue, but a little bit that could bother some people is this part. Now this part is supposed to lock up in place when it's in cube form, but now in camel form it had to maybe cover up the bottom section, which is why it's like this. But there's no locking gimmick, which is a little bit odd, but okay. Alright, so now let's look at the legs here. So obviously right off the bat, when you look at it from the front, you can see these two black joints here, which gives it a lot of freedom. So you can see the black joint itself is moving, but on the black joint here we have another ball joint, which allows the camel to go almost 360. Now the reason why it's kind of tricky is because there's a lot of stuff getting in the way, so you're going to need to fiddle around that with that black piece. And then it also has a butterfly joint here, so I'm not sure if these would be considered shoulders, but yeah, you can go forward and backward as well. Very, very well done as well. And then we have these, there's a lot of aesthetic parts like here. So this is this part that can like move on its own freely. And then when you're going to cube form, you have to push it down. So it doesn't really do much, but more other than aesthetics. So yeah, but once again, they all have these ports here. So if you want to like slap on more stuff on it, you could technically do that as well. And then we have these joints here that can go back, forward, and then bend inwards like that. But some of this is mostly for the transformation, so yeah. And then we have the feet here, which is very interesting. I haven't really seen these type of gimmicks. So these are double jointed, like double ball jointed feet, and I thought it was impossible to do a pivot joint, but apparently it works very well. So yeah. And do be careful of these plastic parts. They do tend to pop out if you're not careful. So don't like try to force too much pressure on it outwards, or it will pop out. I did have one pop out, not break, so yeah, just be aware of that. Ooh, that looks painful. And then, so obviously because it's a double ball joint, there's no 360 on this, but you do have a little bit of twist, which is kind of interesting. All right, and make sure, because this is a camel, I guess getting the tricky part is to make sure like the joints look, you know, natural for a camel instead of like straight line legs. All right, so this is the part I was talking about regarding that holographic sticker. So you're supposed to apply a sticker here, and then it's supposed to kind of glow and then kind of show like the inwards of the inside of the pilot. So basically creating an illusion. So you can actually, once again, you have the same thing on the other side. So yeah, granted the pilot seat is a little bit different color here, but this is how it works. So if you already have the pilot figurine and you just want to look at it through a window, you can flop this or flip this open up and you can see the pilot figurine. Now obviously putting the pilot figurine through this window is going to be much difficult, so all you can do is just basically open this section up and reveal the entire seat here. So once again, we have this thing right over here. Now when transforming into the cube form, obviously you need to take this one out because this space is very important as well. So yeah, let me just take this out right away. So yeah, and then the pilot figurine, the pilot seat can go downwards. That's mostly because of the transformation here. Oh, sorry about that. Let me just close that up. So making sure like everything is closed up is also kind of important with these type of figures to make sure you have enough stability. So yeah, and then on the other side is pretty much the same, but of course the pilot seat is green. So other than that, yeah. So once again, I think it would have been natural if they gave us like 4 pilots, but once again, the only fact that they gave us 3, and then for the hologram sticker they only gave 1, is a very odd choice or odd number. All right, and then here we have the final pilot figurine, which is inside here. This is the part where I would prefer to go in here or here, but yeah, so you can just flip this up open and then reveal the figure. Now, I believe my guess is that this one is okay without putting it out, because obviously you have to put it back in here like that. So once again, another pattern is that they have these spring gimmicks. Hurrancan also had a spring gimmick on his claws, and this one has a spring gimmick on his back. I'm not sure like what's the purpose of this one, like in real life mechanical terms, like this, but yeah, it's a pretty cool and fun gimmick here. So you can, it's really your preference. If you want to have it like with the pilot out, you can do that, or inside you can do it like that. Now of course this is mostly for the transformation to the cube form, but yeah. All right, and then obviously we have the back legs here. Once again, it has a similar joint here, but no butterfly joint there. And these ones are a little more stiff, so upwards it can go pretty much your desired direction. The main end joint there is a ball joint. Now, of course, going 360 is going to be a little bit trickier because without that shoulder butterfly joint, it's a little bit limited. So 360, I would say it's not going to be that possible unless you know your way around. And then obviously we have this joint here, and then forward as well. And then this lower leg does not go backwards, only forward as well. And then technically there is another rotating point here, but this is more for the transformation to cube form, so it should not really apply to the camel as well. And then same type of feet where it has a double jointed feet, and then when you go up, you can see this part also go up as well. So a little bit interesting as well. And then here we have finally the tail. So the tail can go sideways. Now keep in mind, this joint is not a ball joint, so don't wiggle around too much. So going to side, and then this side you can go up and down, and that is pretty much it. There is another joint here that allows it to go up and down as well. So make sure you know how this works. And finally, those weapons. So these are on its back, and then you can just pretty much open these things up and reveal these very nice looking blades. And yeah, I really love the fact that despite being a camel, they really nailed on the whole mechanical style and design, and giving a weapon to show that this is meant for like some sort of combat or maybe reconnaissance. But yeah, it can definitely hold on its own when needed. Really love the fact. And then also another interesting fact is that if I can get this joint out, this side of the joint is actually connected as a ball joint here as well, and then this is just a regular peg. So kind of a very nice way to balance out the whole stability of like joints in this case. All right, and we have pretty much seen the basics of the figure as well. So once again, I absolutely love the whole concept of this because we never actually had a camel mech before. The only thing that was close was maybe the one from the Breath of the Wild, one of the 4 mechanical sacred beasts. But once again, we never actually got a product of that other than maybe a limited edition amiibo. But yeah, Absolutely love this. Now, once again, the only downside to previous collectors would be that this is a 7cm cube version, which is there's no practical way to store that. So I think there are some people who are like not really buying these because there's no way to store them properly. Now, I personally love these, and then once again, I am not sure how far they're going to go with the 7cm Beast Box versions as well. But hopefully, 52Toys also kind of figures out a way to, you know, fix the whole storing issue. Maybe they make a new, you know, box charger for the 7cm ones, or maybe they find an entirely new way of storage as well. Anyway, that is pretty much it for the review. So once again, this was the 52Toys Beastbox Oasis. Once again, it's a 7cm version, so there's only two 7cm Beastbox out there: Hurrancan, which was the Scorpion, and the Oasis, which is the Camel. Other than that, they should be either mostly 5cm out there as well. Once again, if you're a big fan of, like, you know, some uncommon mecha animals, I would definitely recommend this. Definitely has the presence as well. Once again, if you guys got any questions or requests, then comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews on, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.